peer feedback for a group. Online timer for time management, highly recommended. Just have to type in Google online timer and it comes up. And the code making support sheet. So I developed that sheet for students who are struggling or who need some other kind of physical form of what they need to do. So it has, as you'll see below, it will have it's a table form, so you have what part of the book, image from the book, what the action would be, and the code which represents that. So it's all in a linear form from left to right. It's just very easy to read for those who need something visual and physical to look at. Safety issues to be considered. So we also have ICT safety issues as well as physical safety issues. So as the students will be moving around the classroom, it is very important that they tuck in chairs, that they leave their working area clean and tidy, so it's easier for people to walk around and have it very hassle and trip free. And the ICT safety issues is like students will be using their own iPads and devices, and at the beginning of the year students have signed a contract which says anything that is put on the device, being apps, files, or on the school drive, the school has access to it, as well as parents and caregivers all have access to it. So just being mindful of the things that happen and working out like there is a digital footprint throughout every time you use a device. So this lesson does indicate critical and creative thinking, the general capability of using ICT, as well as numeracy and literacy with that book. So this is the first page of the lesson plan. So we have a revision introduction where they look at the codes they've made and teach to ask probing questions. Was it easy? What were the challenges? So that's from the homework task. Activity 1, code sharing. They will be giving one OZBot, and this is where the students really have a physical understanding. You know, they're very tangible things. They can pick up an OZBot, pop it on their code and realize what worked, what didn't work, where did it go wrong, were the lines thick enough, were they straight enough, so forth and so forth. In this activity 1, code sharing also allows students to provide feedback and to their peers and to actually change their original code to apply that feedback to their activity presented. That allows them to, make physical changes right then and there when it's fresh, and then they'll be able to achieve and, see where their achievements have landed. Activity 1, the informal assessment, and that is the Google form created by myself. During that time, teacher will then also use the time manager, the online timer for time management. Great tool. They also will recall going on a bear hunt storybook, making sure kids know, have a small discussion, very brief. The next part of the activity is the explanation of the second one. So pretty much the students have to create a code for the OZBot to follow of the story of going on a bear hunt through the grass, the mud, the forest, the cave. The students have to design a code for that, linking with the design and production skills, and they have to make decisions on whether what decisions the robot should be making through the grass. Like, will it be fast through the grass? Would it be slow all through the mud? Would the OZBot be running through, if it was part of the book and part of the family, would it be completely boosting through the mud, or would it be taking slower, harder steps because it is so thick? So these things the teacher will probe the students on. However, that is part of their task to discuss what decisions they made in their production of a code. So for differentiation, the red text is for the strugglers, the lower group. They just have a discussion with the teacher and use the scaffold about what decisions the robot would make if it was in that family. Would it be really fast through some aspects? Would it be really slow? And using that scaffold where it has part of the book, the image from the book, so giving that visual representation so the students are better able to make a decision on what action the robot will take. And with that, they are also allowed to discuss with the teacher about how to code, how to properly make sure your code is able to be read, and the physical small needs of coding. And the green text is for the excelling students, the students who get through it, know what to do, need some more. So they are challenged to reverse the code. So at the end of the book, towards the end of the book, after the family have seen the bear, they run all the way through what they've just been through to their house. So it's up to the students then to reverse what their code has, they've made for their code, and do it as they were the family who's gone back to their house after seeing the bear. With that, the teacher has probed, could the Ozobot just do a U-turn at the end? Would the code still be the same? Why or why not? What pace would the robot travel in? All these probing questions, having a look at the trial and error. If you did a U-turn, would the Ozobot read the correct code or would it read the code backwards? What implications would that have? So after all that, the students will then present their ideas to all the other groups. So each group will go to another group and they'll just present their idea, having a look at what another group did, what they decided, what decisions they took, and just having a look at the design and production skills of another group that, some students may not even think of. So the closure is just a pack up and reflection, so complete pack up, whatnot, using that timer again because it is such a vital tool. Just also going through that informal assessment again as a whole class with teacher and student, having that informal assessment, but not just answering the questions, but looking at differences they made from activity 1 to activity 2 and what they've learned and gathered from that. That also can, in that time, they can look at the learning intentions and success criteria and distinguish if they have been met. If not, what else can they do? What did they miss? Did they trickle off in their own little small world, per se? So these are the resources. So this is the 2 stars and a wish format and template. Great for feedback. This is the Ozobot coding sheet, which is straight from ozobot.com. The little informal survey questionnaire that I've made, and this was the scaffold that I produced. So we have part of the story in this column, the image, action, and what the code would look like, as well as visual stimulus for those who just need something to look at. We also have the read aloud book if students need an extra recall. So this is activity 1 work sample. This is what Mark actually produced, and this is the code he made at home. He did not test it yet, but this is the one he developed at home, and let's see what happened.